Live from Lincoln, this is 1011 News at 5.
Coming up, time is running out for the Huskers to become bowl eligible. After a heartbreaker in Madison, we're hearing from Matt Rule about his decision-making late in the game.
Plus, facing pushback at a panel, the AG answering questions about his view of Nebraska's Inspector General. The latest from both sides on this debate.
First, a deadly crash in South Lincoln shuts down a stretch of Nebraska Parkway. What we're learning from police as this investigation continues. It's our top story on 1011 News at 5. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Madison Pitch.
And I'm Cole Miller. A portion of one of the busiest roads in the city is still blocked off this evening following that crash, where sadly one driver was killed. Another
driver was also taken to the hospital. Here's what we know at this hour. The crash happened at around 2 o'clock this afternoon at 20th and Nebraska Parkway. LPD tells us the driver of a pickup was heading west on Nebraska Parkway when they hit the person driving a maroon Chevy that was turning from 20th to head east onto Nebraska Parkway. First responders tried doing CPR on the driver of the Chevy, but were not able to get a pulse back. Both directions of Nebraska Parkway are currently shut down between 27th and 14th. Once we learn more, we'll be sure to bring you those updates.
Now to the latest on that feud brewing between Attorney General Mike Hilgers and the state's inspectors general. He believes their roles are unconstitutional, citing the access they have to certain information, saying that violates the separation of powers.
The question now is, are they unconstitutional, and what, if any, legislation will follow now that the AG's opinion was released? 1011 Chanel Taylor McCarthy dropped by a debate today to hear what both sides are saying. She's live in the newsroom with more.
Yeah, guys, ultimately, it would have to come down to legislation and litigation being proposed by the Attorney General or the legislative branch. But I heard from Senator Danielle Conrad on the panel, and she said the window between AG Hilgers' public opinion and proposed litigation by his office has been closed for a long time. She said the window for Hilgers to request legal action on his concerns closed 10 days after the opinion was released in August. No changes were made to the law or statutes, but Inspector General Jen Carter, who was also a speaker today, said she is now receiving limited information from agencies like the Department of Health, making it impossible for the IG to keep checks and balances. Meanwhile, Senator Danielle Conrad said not only will litigation not change the already constitutional role, but she's calling the AG's opinion just that, an opinion and an attempt to dismantle the public's right to know what is happening in certain agencies. She says the fact that information is now being halted and refrained is disturbing.
It is shocking to have state departments not comply with existing law. And that's exactly what the Attorney General did by giving them permission with his political opinion.
Attorney General Mike Hilgers, however, said his opinion and stance on the role has remained the same. He said his office didn't see litigation as a necessary step, and that the question posed were whether the power the Inspector General carries are unconstitutional. Powers like the way in which inspector generals can issue a subpoena, as well as having direct physical access to facilities, and allegedly, according to the AG, co-opting in criminal investigations and deciding to impede an investigation. Inspector General of Child Welfare Jen Carter said that isn't something that would ever happen. She said the role is to be impartial and check whether or not agencies followed rules and regulations. Now, coming up later tonight, hear from Attorney General Mike Hilgers on the specific powers he says do not line up with the Constitution. Live in the newsroom, Chanel Taylor McCarthy, 1011 News.
A lot to unpack with this story. We'll see you a little later. Thanks, Chanel Taylor.
All right, let's get to weather, where we're starting the week off on a wet foot after the rain finally made a reappearance over the weekend. Taking a live look at Skyview, chilly and damp on this Monday. Here's Ken with the first look at our forecast. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Madison. Damp and dreary never looked so good, at least for a lot of folks in central and eastern Nebraska. We've had some decent precipitation over the past 48 hours in the main weather. We'll take a look at some of those numbers. Right now, the light rain continues to fall in Lincoln. We're at 4 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. Plenty of clouds out there. Temperature 43 here at the studio, 44 at the Lincoln Airport. And you factor in a north-northeast wind at 10 miles an hour, and it feels like it's in the upper 30s. Here's a check of temperatures statewide, fairly uniform, low to mid 40s across 10-11 country and all the way out into the Nebraska Panhandle. 44 in Grand Island, 44 in North Platte at this hour as well. Most of us with a north or a northeast breeze and a little bit stouter winds over the western portions of Nebraska, where we're seeing wind gusts over 30 miles an hour at times. Everybody sees a gusty north-northwest wind tomorrow. As far as visibility is concerned, it's not terrible, but again, it is reduced in some locations thanks to the clouds, the fog, and the drizzle, so keep that in mind if you're traveling between communities this evening. You can see the light precipitation continuing to fall. That is going to continue to slide to the south and east as we move through the remainder of the evening, but still plenty of clouds around between now and 10 with some light showers, some fog, and some drizzle out there along with that northerly breeze. As far as our 10 o'clock temperatures are concerned, readings aren't going to move much between now and 10. It looks like most of us at 10 still in the low 30s to low 40s. We'll have complete forecast details. What can we expect as the week unfolds and we head towards Thanksgiving? Complete forecasts in just a few.
Ken, thank you. It's been a long time since we've seen the rain. Also a long time since the Huskers have had a losing record, nearly 2 months to be exact.
Nebraska is 5-6 and has just one more shot at punching their ticket to a bowl game. 10-11 sports director Kevin Suits examines the recent loss at Wisconsin and Matt Rule's response to some criticism.
Matt Rule gave a detailed 2-minute-long answer on Monday when discussing Nebraska's late-game clock management in Saturday's loss to Wisconsin. Rule admits he wishes he would have used an additional timeout near the end of regulation. He wishes the Huskers would have taken one more shot at the end zone. But the coaching staff didn't want to risk an interception. That's why they played it conservatively, settling for a field goal which pushed the game to overtime. Rule adds that he felt the Huskers defense was going to hold in OT.
I told the team, I said, guys, I wish I'd have done this for you. I wish I'd have given you one more shot. That's part of all this. I have players come into me and sometimes they have tears in their eyes, say, Coach, I wish I'd have done this. We do the best we can. We come out the next week. But it was thought out. It wasn't like it was, just, hey, we don't know what we're doing. I just felt like I owed it to our defense to guarantee that the game continued.
Saturday's loss was Nebraska's third in a row, and each of those games have come down to the final possession. The Huskers must find a way this week. They play Friday against Iowa. A victory would send Nebraska to a bowl game for the 54th time in program history. Covering the Huskers, Kevin Suits, 10-11 News.
Kevin, thank you for that. And looking ahead to Friday, it's the game many of us have been waiting for all season long. Nebraska did it last year in Iowa City. They'll see if they can win again, this time in Lincoln. You can catch the action without even changing your channel. It's airing right here on 1011 with an 11 a.m. kickoff. Be sure to tune in an hour early, though, for a special 1011 pregame show with Kevin, Chase, and Kendall. Still ahead here at 5, between the savory dishes and the sweet foods, the holidays can be a tough time for some people who have to watch what they eat.
That's especially true for people who have diabetes. When we come back, we'll look at a few things you should keep in mind.
Welcome back. During the holidays, family and friends gather around the table where more often than not, food is the focal point.
And if you're one of the millions of Americans with diabetes, these get-togethers can be a little bit challenging. 1011's Taryn Vanderford has ways to manage diabetes while also enjoying yourself.
For people with diabetes, Thanksgiving is different. A big meal with all the trimmings can raise their blood sugar to a very high unhealthy level. Here's some advice on making smart food choices on the holiday. Having fun with family while managing blood sugar levels can be hard for those with diabetes.
You have to think ahead, you have to plan ahead, you have to think about what kind of food is going to be there.
Endocrinologist Kitty Wine with the Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center says a person will need different approaches depending on whether they have type 1 or type 2 diabetes.
The person who has type 1 diabetes has to figure out how to plan to match their insulin to their food. The person with type 2 diabetes has to ask the question of what can I eat that's healthy? How can I still have fun but not overeat?
To manage diabetes, Wine says to stick to a schedule, eat as close to regular times as possible, and pack a snack just in case. Enjoy that yummy food in moderation, but be aware of what you're eating. Some pre-meal research can help.
Oh my gosh, if you knew how much sugar was in the pecan pie, you'd probably never eat it again.
Wine says to be carb conscious and avoid sugary beverages and alcohol. If you're the cook, try fresh herbs or lemon juice instead of salt. And stay active. It's important to stabilize blood sugar levels.
You don't have to go run a marathon, but just going for a walk. Going for a walk after an event can be really good for you and help to keep your sugar down.
Dr. Wine says one way to eat healthier over the holidays is to challenge friends and family with whom you're gathering to find and make a new healthy dish, or challenge each other to find a new healthy way to cook an old recipe.
Taryn, thank you. Taking a live look at Skyview. We have got a gray day here in the capital city. Ken's full forecast, and to look at how much rain some parts of the state have seen after the break.
10 years.
Sure I do.
With your local Lincoln forecast. 7-11 now, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shemick.
A lot of ground to cover tonight. We've got the big holiday coming up on Thursday. Lots of travel plans. We've had rain the past couple of days, so we're going to jump right into it. Start you off with a look at the weather headlines for this evening. The holiday week starts damp and ends cold. That late week chill might mean snow, I've been told. Stay tuned all week long as the forecast unfolds. The only thing we're missing is the Grinch. I had a little rhyme going there. I should have worked him in there. But anyway, lots of things to talk about. This is the drought monitor from a week ago. It is the current drought monitor. The new one won't come out till Thursday. But I want to look at this just to remind areas of central and eastern Nebraska where we've got the extreme and exceptional drought. And here's a look at the radar estimated precipitation over the past 48 hours. And you can see some of these areas picked up some very significant rainfall. Again, in the yellow shaded areas, anywhere from around an inch to an inch and a half, at least according to radar estimates. And then in the deeper greens and some of the lighter yellows, half an inch to an inch. Not everybody was quite that lucky, but a lot of folks did see their most significant rainfall in over a month. In fact, here's the precipitation totals for these cities from yesterday. Around a half an inch or better in places like Beatrice, as well as Hebron, and then Hastings, and then Grand Island, as well as Albion and Ord, Broken Bow, even O'Neill picking up 81/100ths of an inch. And again, that was yesterday's total, 1600ths yesterday at the Lincoln Airport. Here's today's total, about 2/10ths of an inch in the capital city. So that puts the airport total at about 36/100ths of an inch. We've got about 42/100ths of an inch here at the 1011 studios. And then you can see lighter amounts, but some locations, including Falls City and Hebron, did pick up some decent amounts of rain so far today. And there's a little bit of precipitation still ongoing out there. We'll check radar here in just a second. Here's a look at temperatures. We're talking about low to mid 40s across Nebraska and northern Kansas. For the most part, 44 in Lincoln. A lot of us with a north or a northeast wind. A little friskier over western portions of Nebraska where we've got those wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles an hour. Wind is really a player tomorrow. We could see wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour out of the north and northwest as high pressure builds in and clears this weather system out. So here's a look at the satellite radar picture. Mainly light rain continuing to fall over portions of east central, southeastern Nebraska. That should be winding down as this weather system moves off towards the south and east during the evening. We'll drop our surface features in. There's that weather system. Again, between now and 10, it heads off towards the east. As early tomorrow morning, we're already looking at windy and cooler conditions as a cold front pushes across the state. But it should be dry across most of the coverage area other than a few sprinkles associated with that front. As we head through the day, the winds are going to slowly taper back by late afternoon and early evening. But we are talking about a windy and cooler day tomorrow. Highs mainly in the 40s and lower 50s. Then we'll stay a little bit on the cool side Tuesday night into Wednesday. But ahead of this next cold front, we'll be turning breezy and warmer on Wednesday with highs back in the 50s and 60s. Now behind this boundary will turn breezy and cooler again for Thanksgiving Day Thursday, but Thursday looks like it's going to be dry. However, if we check out the European and the GFS, our two longer range models, we'll pick this up Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. As we head towards Thursday, you can start to see the next weather system approaching from the north and west. The European models got snow on Friday in western and central Nebraska, and according to the European model, this system is strong enough and holds together. It's going to bring snow into portions of eastern Nebraska on Saturday as well. That's the European model. GFS, not in a real good agreement. Here comes that moisture on Thursday. Here's the precipitation in the form of light snow in western and central Nebraska on Friday, but then the GFS really weakens that system and really doesn't give much of eastern Nebraska, hardly anything at all as far as moisture. So there is divergence in those two longer range models. We're going to have to keep you updated on the forecast as we move through the next several days and get a little bit closer to the end of the work week and the weekend. But if you have travel travel plans, please stay tuned to those latest forecast numbers. Overnight tonight, we're talking about 20s and 30s. Highs tomorrow, 40s and 50s. Unfortunately, our wind speeds could be in the 40s and 50s as well. We're hoping not for 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but we could see 35 to 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts during the day on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Then back into the 20s tomorrow night, early on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon looks good temperature-wise. 50s, 60s, maybe even some low 70s in the southwestern part of the state, and that'll be the last time we see those numbers the rest of the week. 20s and 30s to start your day on Thursday. Highs on Thanksgiving Day Thursday. Dry conditions, but only mid-30s to mid-40s. Then we're in the teens and 20s on Friday. Highs only in the 20s and 30s, so Black Friday is going to be a chilly one. Single digits and teens to start the day Saturday. 20s and 30s for your Saturday afternoon, and then mainly single or digits or teens on Sunday morning, with highs on Sunday afternoon 30s and 40s. So that runs you all the way through Sunday of the upcoming holiday weekend. Schaefer's Lincoln forecast at 9, 20% chance for some showers, maybe some drizzle and fog out there. Temperatures steady. We're around 42 yet at 9. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, partly cloudy, blustery in the capital city, 35 already tomorrow morning, winds gusting over 30 miles an hour. That'll make 35 feel a lot colder. Mostly sunny, seasonal, gusty winds in the afternoon, 45 degrees. Could still see winds gusting to 30 or 35 in Lincoln at 3 on your Tuesday. So we're keeping an eye on those changes late in the week. We expect dry, good travel weather Wednesday and most of Thursday, then keeping our eye on Friday and Saturday, along with much colder conditions. We could be looking at that snow across a good chunk of the state, and then mainly dry Sunday and Monday. Back to you guys.
All right, Ken, thanks so much. Up next, a few days out from Turkey Day, we're talking dogs, and we're meeting the Nebraska family raising a very popular kind of pooch.
We'll take a trip to their farm to learn more about the breed and the people behind the operation.
What started as a small hobby has transformed into a full-fledged family business. And this breed of dog, known for its natural beauty, is now gracing parts of northeast Nebraska.
That would be an Australian Shepherd, and that family calls West Point home, where they specialize in caring for them. 1011's Grace McDonald takes us to the farm where these little furballs call home.
When 12-year-old Mackenzie Steppen comes home from school, she says hello to her family of mini and toy Australian Shepherds.
And you just get to come home, sit on the couch, and you get to have a whole bunch of snuggle bugs come by you.
Her mom, Melissa, breeds and sells them for her business, Plum Creek Aussies.
Right now we have 17 dogs. I have 3 males. 8 of our dogs are moms that have had a litter, and then 6 of them are our up-and-coming ones that are prospects for our breeding program.
The idea came about when Melissa and her husband owned a standard Australian Shepherd and Cocker Spaniel.
I said, wouldn't it be the neatest thing to have a Australian Shepherd in a Cocker Spaniel size?
They bought their first toy Aussie in 2012. The main difference between toy Aussies and mini Aussies is toy Aussies are below 14 inches and mini Aussies are between 14 and 18 inches. Plum Creek Aussies sells 4 types of dogs: black tries, red tries, blue merles, and red merles. Tries have 3 distinct colors, and merles have marbled coats.
Very exciting when it comes to having puppies. It's like Christmas. You never know what you're going to have.
One dog costs between $1,500 to $2,000, but the Steppens pay special attention to the animal's temperance, genetics, and shape and structure.
Easy.
The coloring makes a difference. You can't breed
Especially, you can't breed a merle to a merle. That won't do good in their puppies. They will have mental problems and physical.
The care they put in leads to healthy and award-winning dogs. The mother and daughter both train Aussies for competitions like agility and scent work.
Break! Over! Tunnel! Here! They have been with me for so long, I just practically count them as my sisters.
This year, Plum Creek Aussies entered into competitions where generations are judged. They brought a grandpa, a son, and a daughter.
Those are all bred by dogs for us too. So to win the breeder showcase with all 3 of your bred by dogs is pretty exciting.
You can find photos of puppies on the Plum Creek Aussies Facebook page or website, or even buy a dog here in West Point where life is good, but if you ask the Steppens, Aussies make it better. Reporting in West Point, Grace McDonald, 1011 News.
He isn't quite as cute, but Ken's back next with one more look at your forecast.
So far, gray has been the color of the day. We've got more drizzle, fog, and light showers out there now in Lincoln. Temperature is holding in the lower 40s with a north-northeast wind at 10 miles an hour. It's low to mid 40s pretty much across the state of Nebraska, and we've got that north wind out there at times gusting 20 to 30 miles an hour over the western half of the state, and a little bit of some reduction in visibility due to the drizzle and fog. There's a look at the very light moisture that should be coming to an end, at least in most locations between now and 10, but lots of clouds out there. Fog and drizzle will continue. 10 o'clock, we're looking at temperatures in the low 30s to low 40s.
All right, thank you, Ken, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.